Hello, this is Bart Sharp with Becoming Quantum Conscious at United Public Paranormal Network. We were trying to do the 30-second countdown. However, um, it did not work. I just saw number 23 come up there. So I'm going to chat a little bit just in case you need to go get a drink of water or take something on. And at the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network, we are also featured on Roku, YouTube, Facebook, and you can also just go to my YouTube page and press live and go right to this show if you're trying to find a way to get on the chat. And we welcome everybody to be on the chat. So I think that's a 30-second countdown. My name is Bart Sharp, and this is Becoming Quantum Conscious. And one of the really amazing parts of consciousness is all the great books and text out there that teach us amazing concepts. And we're going to explore one today that my guest and I both adore and have been adoring it for 10 years, something like that. And it's called The Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. And my guest today, Linda Galvan, at lindagalvan.com, that's Galvan, is a Gene Keys ambassador. There's 120 ambassadors worldwide that advocate, teach, coach, have groups in which you have a mastermind group on Zoom that I guess anybody can join to be a part of. So welcome to the show, Linda Galvan.
Thank you, Bart. I'm so glad to be here about one of my favorite topics, Gene Keys and transformation.
Yes.
And I want to thank you. You were the first person to introduce me to the Gene Keys way back. It might have been maybe 12 years ago.
Something like that.
And we were doing some gathering in your home, and you had this big book, and you would read one of the Gene Keys once a week.
Yes.
And
yes.
I wasn't quite processing what it was, and it was making changes in me. And I thought it was fascinating. But the book was out of print for a while, a couple of months at least at that time. So it took almost a year for me to actually get an actual hard book. And then I fell in love. And then I started telling all my clients about it. And some loved it and some hated it. Really just depends. Some people are ready for this level of transformation, some are not. I don't know what your experience has been, but that has been mine. Either they're like, I can't get enough of it, or no, not right now.
And even after 12 years, I still read it, and other people, and I'm sure you still read it. It is quite amazing. And we have Beatrice from Austin, and she also said she's come to the Gene Keys classes here. She says that we're still echoing.
Yes, we're trying to figure that out. I can't get it to stop, and it's quite irritating. On this new moon in Leo, which is also a day of unpredictability, so maybe this is what this is about.
Yes, you're getting to hear two voices at once. Think of it that way. And Gene Keys has a wonderful way of teaching us alternative ways to look at things. I keep thinking of people that have loved the Gene Keys, and then those who go, like I know a guy who has a master's from a major college university. I won't say the name because he'll know who I'm talking about, in engineering. Such a complex engineering mind, but yet he could not really get the Gene Keys. He goes, it's too complex. And because the Gene Keys is encoded energetically. And whatever you read and understand, you are starting to assimilate that great information. It works at that depth.
Well, it's interesting that you share that because Richard says that if you come to the gene keys from an intellectual standpoint, you've missed the whole point of the gene keys because it's not an intellectual practice. So some people have a really hard time allowing themselves just to be exposed to the transmission without trying to figure it all out intellectually. It works on you at a deeper level, as you said. It works at the level of your DNA. And when people are a little too petty and they're a little too analytical, they get caught up in the intellectual process of the gene keys and they miss the whole point of it.
Indeed. It's something you have to apply again and again, almost like the defenses in your mind have to break down to where you can really receive a concept and feel what it has for you. It takes practice.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And I've had mysteries with it about how it has baffled me with a concept. And then finally I have that aha experience and I get it. And it changes something inside of me.
Yes. Richard says that when you have those epiphany moments from contemplation of one of your gene keys, that literally will light up your DNA because it will release and unlock something within your DNA that helps you realign to a higher truth or a higher consciousness.
Mm.
But I wonder if you start with what is a gene key? Maybe many people may not know what it is.
And I hope you're going to tell us. Linda
Oh my
is
God,
an ambassador.
There are so many definitions of the gene keys that I have heard. They're all beautiful. So I'm going to give you my definition that is, I think, aligned with what Richard describes the gene keys as. It truly is a personal voyage of illumination. And it illuminates aspects of your personal life, the way that you are evolving in the world. And it not only helps you understand your evolution and where you struggle, but it also helps you understand humanity's evolution and its struggle through the concept of our shadows, our gifts, and our siddhis. Those are three different frequency bands. You've got your lower frequency band, which we call the shadow. You've got your middle frequency band, which is the gift. And then you've got your highest frequency band, which is the siddhi, or the highest angelic essence of each human. And these three frequency bands we are emitting at any and all times. We're not stuck energetically and genetically in one way. So many of us struggle with different shadow aspects of ourselves that keep us stuck in loop or in suffering and in pain. Usually shadows are a part of ourselves that we don't like, that we don't accept, that actually make us feel yucky for whatever reason. And until we are able to look at that shadow with kindness and warmth and let that shadow speak to us, we're not going to transcend beyond it and transform into the gift frequency, and then eventually into that highest angelic frequency that is the true highest human on the planet. And there's only been a couple of humans, we can probably name them, like Jesus or Buddha, who have emanated the higher siddhi of frequency on the planet. But truly, the gene keys is a transformative journey that you take by exposing yourself to its transmission, meaning exposing yourself to the audios, the videos, the book itself. There's so many things that have been put out there around the gene keys in the last 5 years that you could spend the rest of your life exploring all of that. And just the exposure to the gene keys will create transformation in you because it works at a genetic DNA level.
Yes. And you can find, it's almost like a roadmap that shows you the actual territory of your spiritual journey. and there's 64 different paths that are guiding you. In other words, there's particular paths that are specifically your path, and you learn this through your astrological information about what is your uh, design.
So usually, well, for those of you that are interested, you can go to genekeys.com and you can actually print out a profile for free that shows the actual particular genetic keys that are activated this lifetime for you. And so, um, what I find really fascinating is how accurate, as long as you have an accurate birth date, of course, and your time of birth and location, you can get a very nice profile of what was imprinted at the moment of your birth and what your challenges are in this lifetime, what your gifts are in this lifetime, what your purpose and life's work is in this lifetime. So it gives you some really powerful information that helps you understand yourself better.
So true. And you have just kind of jumped off the cliff with this. That's what I love about Linda is she travels all over the world learning, teaching workshops, uh, but also going to all of, different teachers that she's inclined to learn from. A single mom, um, raising a very exceptional daughter who's, I guess, now in college. Uh, but off she goes to England and Romania to be with Richard Rudd and this group, and has obtained a status or a title of Gene Keys ambassador. And what is that about? And, how did you get to that place?
That is an interesting story. So I'll just summarize it. So, of course, I fell in love with the Cookies, and I began a study group in Austin with another friend of mine. And we dove in and began just allowing the Gene Keys to kind of do us. And there came a point where Richard announced that he wanted to take a handful of Gene Keys lovers who are very committed to this work, take us on a deep dive initiation of this work directly with we were directly mentored for 9 months. And in this 9-month process, we went to hell and back, transformatively. And he warned us. He said, those who say yes to this journey understand that the Gene Keys is going to become embodied within you, so that then you are a walking embodiment of this transmission. So that not only he is a teacher of this work, but all of the ambassadors of the same level of energetic frequency that we share in the world that holds the whole embodiment of this work. So he took us through a journey that to this day I think I'm still integrating. But it has done incredible, powerful cellular work on me. My transformation just from going through that 9-month journey,
Wow.
it's like night and day. And so we truly walk the earth as these transmitters of the Gene Keys. That's what an ambassador is. And we teach in whatever way we're guided. We're an evangelist if we want to be, to let people know about the Gene Keys. And we help the Gene Key community when we're called.
Yes. And it is confrontive if you're willing to look that deep into it. And one of the, amazing things is Rudd's versatility, and that he is speaking in terms of quantum conscious, spirituality, ancient religion, psychology, and futurism. And his vision of the future is very positive. It's one that we're growing into, and we are, working through these issues. He sees this big picture, and at a time when people are so enmeshed in fear, here is somebody giving a positive aspect or outlook, and at the same time, kind of staring you straight in the eye of personal responsibility.
Absolutely. It's interesting that you say that because I actually told a client yesterday, if you're feeling low, having a bad day, just grab the Pinky's book, open it to any page, and read it. You will literally shift in your energy from just being exposed to the high vibration of this work. So it is like, popping an antidepressant an anxiety pill, except it's in a book or in an audio you listen to online that actually will shift your energy very quickly. So I tell people, come to the Gene Keys with reverence. It is a sacred work. At least that's how I treat it. And it is a medicine. It has a very high frequency, and for some people, they can integrate that high frequency very quickly. And some people, they can overdose. They spend too much time with the Gene Keys, and all of a sudden, their whole life moves into chaos because the transformation has built up a lot of momentum. And now they're on this massive transformation that they, in some cases, didn't even ask for.
Wow.
So I've seen that happen with the Gene Keys. So I tell people, take little bites of it first, see how it works for you, and then you'll find a certain piece that is just perfect for you. For me, I can take Gene Keys in small bites. I'm very sensitive to the frequency. And so the minute I start to work with the Gene Keys actively, tumors and earthquakes start to happen in my life. Things start to change very quickly. It's fun if you're ready for it. So I just tell people, come at it with reverence and just start with little bits and pieces first.
It is, and it takes time. It's when I first started reading it 12 years ago. I mean, I'd have to read it and reread it and reread it, and finally I was starting to get it. And now I still reread these chapters again, and it's much easier to understand because I'm aligned with that vibration in his language, and still new concepts open. It's almost as if it stimulates your higher functioning of ideas to where new stuff comes up for you or new applications. I use it all the time to get ideas to teach classes in my becoming quantum consciousness classes in Austin, Texas. And, and you do classes as well as a master Gene Keys mastermind.
Yes.
And before you answer that, I'm going to give you a little bit of time, not much, but if you do have questions, I want to tell the audience, if you do have questions for Linda or I, please bring them on the chat, and we're happy to answer these. And of course, just in case you're just come to us, you are at Becoming Quantum Conscious at United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Network on Roku, YouTube, Facebook, and some other platforms all across the world. So we, like the Gene Keys, we're in a worldwide audience. So tell us about your mastermind group.
So just a couple of months ago, I got the inspiration to start a group online, so we meet online because people live everywhere now. And this mastermind, and I call it mastermind, but I'm using that word somewhat loosely. And so we come together and we focus on a particular topic of the Gene Keys, and we allow it to do its transformative work with us. So we have these open discussions as a group after we have focused, let's say, on a particular Gene Key, and we share our insights, which help each of us to be able to move into a higher level of consciousness around our understanding of that particular topic within the Gene Keys. And then I would usually do a transmission having to do with the Gene Keys, similar to the transmissions Richard does with the Gene Keys. There's just my flavor. And I tune into that frequency, and beautiful messages come through that help us integrate what we are studying at that moment. So usually it's on Mondays, twice a month at 7 p.m. Central. So if people are interested, they can always reach out to me through my website, lindagalvan.com, and fill out that form, and it'll send me a little notice, and I can get back to you with the more details.
Oh, wonderful. I should plug in.
Yes,
Why haven't I?
We'd love to have you as a guest teacher.
Yeah, I always ask questions. You know me.
That's perfect.
Yeah, yeah. It's just so interesting. I in my journey, there's a thing, and you mentioned this. I want to show you mine. This is my. This is basically my chart from my astrological reading, and it has 12 different chapters that really are kind of life paths, where it's my basic path, my vocational, my high spiritual path, I think is what it's called. Um, I know you know these better than me.
Oh,
But
the
it's
different
interesting.
sequences? Is that what you're talking about? Like the activation sequence, your Venus sequence, and your Pearl
My
sequence?
Venus sequence, my prosperity, but it's also kind of my higher work. I think the Venus consciousness is one of higher paths on there in general. I'm not talking about Rudd, but I have chapter 62 twice on that higher path, Venus path, which is very interesting. And as I read that, part of the bigger consciousness is this path of having impeccability with the words and going beyond the intellect to where all the words I speak are spoken in vibration alone.
Hmm.
And the intellect follows that train of thought. And I just think that's very interesting, because when I look at people who've channeled for me, they say, you're a messenger with wings. You are of a higher spiritual voice, stay with it. Of course, this happened 30 years ago when I was starting to have a friend channel angels, and the angels were telling me this. It's like, this is your path, high spiritual communication.
Wow.
Which is baffling. But 62 Gene Keys says basically the same thing.
Yes.
Speak through vibrations.
That's beautiful. I think I have 61, not 62, and that gene key in my sequence, my Venus sequence. And I have it twice. Once in my Venus, once in my Pearl. But people may not know what we're talking about when we mention these numbers. So there are 64 gene keys. We have the 64 shadows, we have 64 gifts, and we all have 64 siddhis. And this particular profile actually lays out the particular of the 64 that are important to you in this lifetime. And so when we mention these numbers, that's what I mean, the particular gene keys that are part of our personal profile that we are contemplating and attempting to integrate and involve.
Yes, and it's and we that's a big part of the process. But you can gain so much wisdom from any of the chapters, whatever you're studying, whether it's your personal design. They all have a wealth of information to bring up, which brings us to when we created this show. Linda was so daring to say, let's talk about the gene keys, because Linda, part of what she does is aligning people with their life purpose and counseling people and doing energy work and all of these things to help people find this higher goal inside of themselves. As our website says, inspiring lives of clarity, creativity, and purpose, finding those life paths. This is what her work is, and you can find out more on lindagalvan.com. But as I think about this, the Gene Keys really matches a lot of that. Um, but as we wanted to talk about a more specific topic within the Gene Keys and something so broad, that was like, that's a big idea that I don't think we can cover. So Linda recommended we just take one small aspect of the Gene Keys, and this is like tiny. This book, it's like 500 pages,
Yes.
556 pages, I think. Uh, and it is packed full of information. The best comparison I could think is A Course in Miracles.
Yes.
But I think it's, I don't want to offend anybody, but it's has a complexity. I think it is ready for this new age that we're right in the middle of. It's I think it's the book that gets you right there to it and right in the middle of it. As I ramble, we wanted to talk about one little aspect of Gene Keys, and that is the 6 steps of transformation in relationship and community.
Great.
And there's 6 steps there, and I just put it on the ticker that has all of those coming out. So can you share a little bit about the 6 steps?
Yes. So let's just start with the idea of transformation, because I am a transformational facilitator working with people who are ready to transform aspects of their lives where they felt stuck, confused, they don't understand why these patterns keep coming up over and over again, and basically they're challenged in their suffering in certain areas of life. And so Richard put out, you can find it actually on YouTube, he put out the 6 stages of transformation. And of course, he always puts out such elegant information, very concise, very to the point. That's part of his gift when he communicates. And so the 6 stages of transformation, I'll just cover those, because I find that when I'm working with clients, I'm noticing that once we go through these stages of transformation, and also treating people in the outer world, they're not aware that they're going through these stages. So the first stage is dissonance. And it can be very deep within you that you're not even quite aware that something is not in harmony. There's something dissonant, not working. And you can feel it more if you are in relationship with someone or in a community with others. It's almost like this itchy, scratchy tension, nails on the chalkboard. Something's not feeling right. And so there's this dissonance that's going on because something inside you is not aligned. Something wants to heal. Maybe a wound that got triggered in some way. And so that's the first step. And some people, if they're very sensitive, they will notice the dissonance. They'll notice something's not right. Most people don't notice the dissonance. So it takes step 2, which is feedback, for them to wake up and realize, oh, something's not working. So interesting, right now, we're getting feedback on this interview.
So continue.
And in order to notice the dissonance, the feedback is loud. It bounces back at you. In order for you to notice it. And notice something's not in harmony. Something's not right. And so here we have the feedback, which makes people wake up and go, something's not working. And if you're in a relationship or in community, you and the other person or people will notice that there's a bit of a loud feedback between the two of you, like where you're not getting along. There's something that's just not in alignment. And that is step 2.
Yeah, and I think with that one particularly, you have to confront the part that it's not blaming the other person or focusing what's wrong with them, but that's the part where you start to ask yourself, how am I creating this?
Yes.
That's one of the most important steps.
And I think that leads right into the 3rd step, which is assimilation. So in assimilation, Richard said this is when alchemy starts. This is when that transmutation starts to happen because all of a sudden you start to notice a pattern that's not working between you and another person or you and a community or a group. And it starts to feel really uncomfortable. And so during the assimilation stage, you need to sit with it. And instead of blame, as you said, the other person, like it's their fault, you have to sit with, wow, what is not working here between me and this person? And it takes time to be with that. And of course, most of us don't want to sit in that uncomfort. We just want to blame and move on. And that's not transformation. Transformation is you stay in it until it transforms. So assimilation is a very important part of transformational stages because it's that uncomfortable time when you have to sit with, wow, something's not working here. So then in the fourth stage, it's called sharing. Because at this point, you have realized something's not working, and it's now time for me to authentically share my feelings. I am feeling this way because of the way this situation is showing up. So you're not blaming anyone, you're owning your feelings.
That's a biggie. No blame.
You're letting what is uncomfortable emerge and you're sharing. But you're not blaming, you're owning. I am feeling this way authentically. So it's an externalization of this not feeling, right within yourself. And from that sharing, it starts to make you feel heard. And so when you or the other or the community feels heard about something that is dissonant, then it starts to create that alchemy, that assimilation we're talking about, where things are starting to shift, like, oh, okay, I'm hearing what this person is saying and how they're struggling with whatever it might be. And then from that sharing, you go into stage 5, which is called distillation. And so out of the sharing, those people or the community that you're working with finally have that epiphany, that aha moment, like, oh, I get it. I see why things are dissonant. And there's no blame. Each person has to come to that awareness on their own. It's a type of learning. That's what transformation is all about. It's like you learn from the discomfort. And from that point, there's a sense of, okay, now that I understand, now that I've shared, now that I see the lesson here, then in the sixth stage, it's about gratitude. It's like release. Okay, now we get back to harmony again because we went from our dissonance to our feedback to our assimilation to our sharing, then to this distillation, and now gratitude that we've come through this journey of being out of harmony to now being in harmony again. But there was never blame, there was never judgment. We just shared authentically how we were feeling. And that is where the transformation happens. And so when I'm working privately with a client, we go through this type of these stages in a way because a client doesn't come to me until they realize there is a dissonance and a feedback in their life. And they can't quite figure it out. Maybe it's with another person, their family, with themselves. And so in sessions with me, we work through and we get to the origin of where that dissonance came from. So that they're looking within themselves and not blaming the outside world for that suffering. And then once they come to that place of distillation, like, oh, I get it, then there's the release. And so my clients will say, I feel so much lighter now. And that's usually a sign to me that, okay, my work is done today. You feel lighter.
Well, that would be the gratitude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And to me, it's like when you go into that and you're in a relationship where you have gone through this process and you've had that gratitude, of course, your energies are more aligned. You may not be the same type of persons, one may like Neil Diamond and the other one may still not like Neil Diamond. This is a quote from What About Bob with Bill Murray. But we have our differences, but the vibrations are closer, and therefore we can begin to work at something higher that's beyond that
Yes.
together, which is a form of that's intimacy.
Yes. Well, just thinking about the Venus sequence, the whole purpose of walking the Venus sequence, which is looking at all the wounding from your early childhood up until your adulthood. That's what the Venus sequence is. It's a journey of wounding to realize all the wounding you went through that has created these struggles in relationships. And through going through that sequence, it starts to make you aware. It goes through this transformational process, these stages of making you aware of that wounding, coming into moments of aha, epiphany, what occurred in your childhood that's creating these patterns in your life now. And then once the awareness begins to distill itself in you, and you may need to go get some support to help you clear out some of the wounding until eventually you arrive at gratitude. I've cleared out the wounding, these patterns no longer show up in my life.
Yes.
The Venus sequence is beautiful at supporting people in really transforming any relationship, not just a romantic relationship, but relationships with anyone, including yourself. In fact.
And communities as well, as you look at a bigger picture.
Yes.
I keep thinking about how we can start bridging those gaps. But another thought shows up, and that is if you are in conflict with somebody and you feel that dissonance, maybe the first step is just realizing that's where I'm at. I'm in dissonance. Maybe I'm getting the feedback and I'm right there. Somehow, if you look at it from this map of these 6 steps, you start to detach from your own triggers that may want to trigger you into fighting, blaming, freaking out in some way.
Yes.
Something that's old, something that you've done many times. And that's the beauty of using a system like this.
Yes. And that's just one way to use the gene keys. There's infinite ways. This work can work with you to help change your life. I like to tell my clients who are overwhelmed when they first get introduced to the gene keys. They're like, I don't know about this, Linda. This is way beyond me. And I just tell them, just get the book, and every day, or maybe once a week, open it up to any page as an oracle and see what message it gives you for that day or that week. And just spend some time with that page or that paragraph you're reading. That alone will create transformation in your life. That's how powerful this work is.
It is. And as you do that, you read one paragraph that you just randomly opened up to. Basically, you're training yourself to acclimate to that vibration. And therefore, the next time you open up a page, you're up a little bit higher in the vibration and you comprehend it easier.
Yes.
That's so much of the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The work itself, I tell people, if you are wanting to truly transform your life and you're not interested in working with anyone else, I would say that Gene Keys is the tool of choice to just spend time reading the particular gene keys and allowing that information to work through you and begin to shift your consciousness, because that's exactly what it does. It shifts consciousness. And of course, as you shift consciousness, you evolve.
Mm-hmm. Very true. And I just want to say that you are on Becoming Quantum Conscious at the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. So we broadcast out of New Orleans, but we also are on the internet. We're also on Roku, so you can see us on cable television, as well as Facebook, YouTube, and other platforms all around the world. And we have Linda Galvan here today. And the topic is Personal Transformation in the Gene Keys, a wonderful book by Richard Rudd. In case you've kind of stepped in here, we're just talking about the profoundness and how Linda uses it in her own life, but also her business and counseling with, I can't think of aligning with your life purpose.
Yes.
Because it
I
does.
like to offer my clients the possibility of using the Gene Keys in their sessions. Some are absolutely open to it, and others are like, "What do we miss right now?" But I can still use their profile as a foundation to help understand where they are stuck in their own shadow processes.
Yes.
So something interesting that happens with me in the Gene Keys. So everybody works with the Gene Keys a different way. So when I look at a profile and I am working with a client, I will actually begin to see the profile in a three-dimensional form. And the particular gene keys in their profile that are important to that session will start to just light up. And then it starts to show me where they're stuck in their particular suffering or shadow. And usually when I mention something having to do with their profile, and I explain what I'm seeing, they're like, "Oh my God, that's it. That's what's going on with me." So it's surprising how accurate it is.
Yes, it is. It's so interesting because I would imagine some of your clients just say, "I just want to be in the magic of your work." And then when you use something like the Gene Keys, there's a different type of structure with it.
Yes.
And that can be overwhelming for some people. But then again, you're teaching them a tool that they can incorporate in their own lives, and most importantly, independently.
Yes.
And that's what so much about what Linda is as a teacher.
Well, usually I do a pretty good job of documenting if somebody is feeling overwhelmed. In fact, I just give them tiny bits and pieces that they're interested in, and then that's it. A lot of times I just do the Gene Keys in the background. I may not bring to discussion because they need to focus on what's going on with them, but I'm just using that as an extra support for me in helping to understand where they're at in their journey.
Yes. And it does, it's almost like it gives you a little bit of a grounding base.
Yes.
I just found that, well, there's one of the things when you get your human design is the first chapter is your life purpose. And like there's the number one most significant chapter, I guess, is the number one of the life purpose. And for mine is 24. And the shadow of that is addiction. And but at the city, the highest level is taking addiction and going into complete silence to where there's a total emptiness of consciousness in your life.
Beautiful.
And once again, it describes my life. Just totally. I grew up with a lot of addictions all around me and my family and with me. And of course, I just have transformed oodles and boodles of that to where it's learning to be in a space of consciousness all the time. 24 is that exact description. And like, who knew? So it's scary how accurate it can be.
Yes. Well, I want to give people an example with 22. Are you okay if I do that, Bart?
Yeah.
How we go from a shadow to our gene. So Gene Key 22 is a very powerful, very sacred gene key. And so at the shadow level, we have what's called dishonor. And at the gift level, we have what's called graciousness. And at the highest level, we have grace. Now, I have a very um, personal relationship with Jinky 22 because I am a Grace channel. So that particular Jinky spoke very deeply to me the first time I read it. So if we want to just look practical with just, let's say you have Jinky 22 in your profile, or maybe you don't. It actually doesn't matter because we have all 64 of these genetic archetypes in our system. So it doesn't matter what's in your profile or not. So dishonor. What is that? So from the perspective of the gene keys in Jinky 22, we dishonor others when we are not considerate of them. And when we're considerate of others in a group, in our thoughts and our actions, that moves us into a state of grace, graciousness. Actually, it's our gift state, graciousness. And as we continue to be in the world in graciousness, be considerate of everyone, how we speak, when we speak, what we say, what we don't say, how we act, and ways that we don't act. We're just in consideration. Those type of people tend to stand out because they're so gracious. They allow space for people to be who they are without judgment. And they're also considerate in the way that they interact. And at the highest level, once you have reached this level of graciousness, where you're considerate of others, that's when the highest heat of grace enters your life. And you become like a portal of this vibration we call grace, which to me is a mystery. You can read the chapter on the city of grace and still not quite grasp what grace is. It, to me, is a divine gift of spirit that you don't have to work for, that you don't have to earn, that truly vibrates through your system and really flows through you and is a gift to everyone around you. So it goes a level higher than just being gracious and considerate. It is an emanation. It's a state of being, a person in grace. And so when you think about a person in grace, you think of someone like the Holy Mother, or probably even a very holy being like Mother Teresa, or someone who holds themselves, like I think of Alma, the Hippie saint of India, who holds herself in this beautiful energy of divine grace. Every time I've been in her presence.
So much of that is about inner work, and
yes.
the grace is coming in that so much of your dishonoring of yourself, which is in the shadow of 22, is stripped away to where you really just get to enjoy that higher vibration of who you are. And it feels so good that you want that to emanate out just as love to humanity. It's not about proving or doing anything to change anybody. It just radiates and emanates.
And it feels very simple.
Yeah.
But just being that highest frequency, as you said, without having to do anything.
Yeah, all of those spiritual masters that you mentioned, one thing they have in common is they're extremely happy. And you see that in their face, in their eyes, their smile, their posturing. It's just easy. It just, something inside of them is having them do that.
Exactly. I think they figured out that life doesn't have to be a journey of suffering. And so they're happy that they feel like that.
Yeah, yeah. And it's amazing how this book really describes, in 7 pages, but of course 22 is something like 20 pages. It's a special chapter, but most of the chapters are 7 pages long. And in that 7 pages, they describe just a huge well of information. that you can't get through in one reading.
No. This is where contemplation comes in. So one of the ways that Richard asks us to come to the gene keys, how do you work with the gene keys? Contemplation. So contemplation is balance between concentrating and meditating. So you are taking, let's say, a statement or a paragraph from a particular gene key, and you sit there and concentrate on it, and then you meditate, and you see what awarenesses or epiphanies come to you around whatever it is you are reading. And it is amazing when you give yourself that time to just pause and allow this powerful transmission to work through you. You will have breakthroughs of thought and inspiration just from focusing on one sentence in a chapter of the book.
Indeed. And it's funny how concepts run in and out of that book. He explains the solar plexus, but never in one particular chapter. And as you read it, I have found a new way that I energetically look at the solar plexus. He says it's where everything begins. He says that it's where a higher power exists within you, your own higher power. But there's no chapter written on it. It's just little sentences here and there throughout the book that have allowed me to understand how the solar plexus works. And that's the beauty of his work. It's non-linear in some ways.
Yes. In fact, he says that the work of the gene keys very much is an embodiment of the divine feminine. It has a flow to it. It is not linear. It is a beautiful spiral of creation, which is really the truth of our universe. It is not linear.
And if you have gone through learning the divine feminine, the inner child, then you start to go into divine masculine and start to create projects with true relevance, power, intention beyond anything that you've ever done before. Because all your crap is out of the way and you're focused and centered on what's really important.
Exactly.
So you've met Richard Rudd a few times and I haven't.
You need
Can you give us some impressions about what he's like?
So I tell people, the first time I met him was in Romania. He was doing the Venus sequence. It was his last time to ever teach that sequence. And so I was like, I have to go. And I was actually in meditation asking Spirit, please, I hope that this spiritual teacher does not disappoint me. Because sometimes you meet the creators of certain things and they're just the most prickly people. They just put in true alignment with how they present themselves in the world. And it's just so disappointing. And I thought, I don't want to have to walk away from the teachers because I really love the teachers. But if the teachers are real, wibbly wobbly, I'm not going to continue with this work. So I was hoping that he would be completely in alignment. And to my surprise, he absolutely was. And so I tell people, who you see on the videos on YouTube or on his website, that's who he is. He's authentically that person. He is very humble, very kind, incredibly wise, and quite a poet. I mean, he speaks so eloquently at all times. And he's so kind. And he has no pretenses. He truly does embody all 64 of the gene keys and has worked through his shadow, all 64 archetypes. And you can see that in the way that he teaches, carries himself. He doesn't take himself seriously. He can be humorous. And I really love how he tells people, you might come to a point with the gene keys where you're like, "That's enough," and you walk away. And he goes, "That's great too." Um, so he doesn't take even his own work that seriously. It's here for the world. It's like it came through him. He doesn't own it. It's here for the world. And he enjoys meeting people who are in love with the gene keys and those who aren't. It doesn't really matter. He's just happy to live his life and keep bringing forward this wisdom.
Sounds
And
like
I
the
think
city
that's
of grace. Sounds like the city of graciousness out of chapter 22.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes.
So
So
we're coming down to our last minute. Actually, we went over our last minute. Any projects, anything that you want to invite people to share and see about you, what you're
well,
doing?
I would say that if you are interested in personal transformation in any area of your life, or you're interested in the gene keys, you can just go to my website, www.lindagalvan.com, and fill out that little form, and I will get a notice and reach out to you. Some of you may already know me, and you can reach out to me through text. But that would be the best way to get a hold of me, and we can actually have a private chat on where you are in your life and what type of transformational area that you're wanting to focus on in your life. Might be in the area of business, maybe in finances, maybe with relationships, with health, any of those areas of our life that we struggle. We'll have a chat, and then if it's good for you, I have a 4-week transformational series that I do. It's private between you and me, and I've been noticing quantum leaps with people in 4 weeks, truly changing from the stuckness that you're in or the confusion to a whole next level of their life in just 4 weeks. So if you're interested in quick, fast transformation, then that might be the series for you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Linda. Thank you for coming on the show. And, it's just been a fun hour. We both are very passionate about this topic.
Yes.
This is Becoming Quantum Conscious at United Public Radio and UFO Paranormal Radio on Roku, Facebook, YouTube. Come check us out. My name is Bart Sharp, and my website is bartsharp.com. And I do shamanistic work, just in case you were wondering. And I hope to see you next week with another hour of Becoming Quantum Consciousness. Until then, I wish you all the best. Bye-bye for now.
Goodbye.